Hi, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to our Survivorship Education webinar series. Let's get physical. Let's talk about activity after cancer. Today, I'm excited to bring to you a wonderful panel from both Washington University and some of our community partners. We're going to discuss the benefits of physical activity and exercise after cancer and how it can help you become and stay active at the appropriate level for you. So I'd like to start by saying thank you for waiting and for your patience. We did have some technical difficulties, and so we're excited to be able to come to you today with this information. I am so pleased and honored to introduce our webinar speakers. My name is Rochelle. I will be your moderator today. I am the manager of the Survivorship program at Siteman Cancer Center and have partnered with our PCAD, the Program for Elimination of Cancer Disparities, to bring you this series of webinars. So let me introduce our speakers for today. First, we have Dr. Andrea Hageman. Dr. Hageman works for the Washington University School of Medicine. She is assistant professor in the Division of Gynecology Oncology. Welcome, Dr. Hageman. We also have Janie Pillay. She is here with our Washington University Physical Therapy Department, and she's going to be sharing some wonderful information as well. We're also excited to have Kelly Mathis with us. She is a survivor who is going to inspire you with her story, but also how you can do this for yourself. Hi, welcome. And then finally, we have Kate. Last but not least, she's going to share wonderful information from the YMCA about their Live Strong program. So welcome to all of our panelists. Let's get started. Dr. Hageman.
Great. Thank you so much, Rochelle, for that introduction. I'm happy to be here today to talk about the side of things from the doctors that you may see as a part of your cancer treatment and beyond. I'm a GYN oncologist at Washington University, and well, I have no financial disclosures. I am kind of an workout and exercise junkie, and I love everything that brings the community together to get physical together, as the title says. So here's some pictures of us at Pedal the Cause with our Gynonc Teal on Wheels team, and a recent picture from our St. Louis ovarian cancer survivors walk. And just even those small moments of getting outside and getting physical are so important. So that's my big disclosure because well, the specifics of the weight, the number doesn't matter. It's how active you are and how healthy your body and metabolism is that does seem to play into cancer outcomes. And then recently, what I wanted to share with you today is that the American Society Does exercise improve during cancer treatment, improve outcomes? And the answer is yes, which is very exciting, because we maybe, as we get into the nitty gritty details of cancer treatment, we don't often spend time saying, okay, what's your exercise program? We talk about chemo schedule and lab schedule and getting here and there for different appointments, but we don't necessarily always fit that in. And so this is a huge call to, the treatment team, physicians and nurses and everyone taking care of patients undergoing cancer treatment, that we need to really put this into our treatment plan, recommending aerobic and resistant exercise during active treatment. Why? Well, for one, it can actually reduce fatigue, even though chemo and treatments will make us very fatigued. We know that getting through that with a little bit of exercise and movement can preserve the cardio fitness that you come into cancer treatment with, can improve physical functioning and strength, certainly has mood benefits, improves sleep, and in fact, kind of more on the kind of metabolic side of things, it reduces levels of inflammation and insulin production. It might even make chemotherapy more effective. We think a lot has to do with immunity as well. So, as we put all these guidelines together, it's so exciting to be able to say that actually exercise might actually make chemotherapy and cancer treatments work better. The other question that this guideline tried to address was, what about pre op exercise, or something called prehabilitation? And in fact, specifically in lung cancer, where we know, that's kind of right to the heart of breathing, when we do prehabilitation for lung surgery, it actually reduces the length of hospital stay and reduces postoperative complications. I'm a gynecologist, not often operating in the lung, but I can also say that people who come into cancer surgery from a gynecologic side of things certainly do better if they are prehabbed and, having a good physical activity level when they come into a surgery for cancer. And so, proposals out there to really make sure that we, as a part of the healthcare team, put into place the importance of physical activity. It's not a separate thing that you just do outside of the hospital, right? We have to also work with our community providers to make sure that we're getting access to and encouraging rehabilitation and activity during cancer treatments. So we have very strong recommendation that oncology providers should recommend aerobic and resistance activity during active treatment. And maybe not as strong of evidence, but we certainly see it play out clinically when people are, well prehabbed coming into surgery. Now, interestingly, the guideline also asks, well, what about diet? How about consuming a particular diet pattern or food during cancer treatment? There's a lot of questions about this. What if I cut out all the sugar? Will my cancer treatment work better? Or, specific diets as you see listed here. Actually, no. We now we may not have studied this exactly as thoroughly as we could to answer these questions, but in fact, there just doesn't seem to be data that compile to say that we should focus on diet. In fact, if we focus on the physical activity, that might actually strengthen all of it. And additionally here, the question that the guideline committee asked was, do interventions to promote intentional weight loss or avoidance of weight gain really help with quality of life, treatment toxicity, and cancer control? And here the answer, unfortunately, is still no, too. It's not to say that it shouldn't be done, but it's maybe time during active cancer treatment to really focus on physical activity rather than the specifics of the number on the scale or the BMI or anything like that, because in fact, staying active is going to promote all of this to happen down the line. We know that health disparities do influence the ability to stay physically active during treatment. Talking with our community providers today, I can't wait to hear from Kate about the Livestrong program. And I think it's important to know that not everybody has access to gyms or safe physical activity spaces, and so that's something that we as providers need to kind of talk about. And then, very excitingly, we know here's what's happening at the kind of the inside the body when we're active. We get outside just to walk a little bit, getting our body moving. It really revs up inflammatory markers that are going to kind of come in to help to really kill cancer cells, in fact. Our increase in our metabolic hormones, gut microbiota, all of that sort of gets revved up and stimulated in a very positive way when we're active. And here's just another busy picture of all the things that are happening inside the body at the molecular level, that are stimulated in a positive way, or negative things are downplayed because of the exercise. So as we go forward, with this guideline in mind, really exciting to think about studying wearables, fitness tests, biosensors, and working on, kind of how did genetics play into this as well. And then most importantly, just being advocates for policies that facilitate exercise for cancer patients. I think that this data is very strong, and we really need to help promote that side of things. In a survey that ASCO sent out, 84% of oncologists said that really they felt like they want to introduce the importance of exercise, but potentially the oncologists aren't the one to necessarily set up the plan. It's working with our community providers, getting people into appropriate activities. And so, just a little potential prescription. I think, as a cancer patient, absolutely introduce this idea, like, talk with your doctor about how much exercise you should be doing. Here's an example script, in fact, that we can help, to engage us as clinicians to help our patients move through cancer. And strength training, of course, in addition to walking and just getting your body moving, is super important too, to help reduce that muscle fatigue and wasting that can come from chemotherapy. And in general, again, just communication and collaboration with our other, community members and everything to make sure that we get people to the treatment that they need. So, in summary, a quick overview of some of the really exciting evidence that physical activity during cancer treatment is recommended to improve outcomes and decrease treatment toxicity, and hopefully even improve cancer control. Exercise is safe also in advanced and recurrent cancers, and an open and honest discussion with your oncologist is so important. Thank you so much. I'm happy to take questions at the end and can't wait to hear the other people talk today.
Sorry about that. I was muted. So, as Dr. Hageman said, we are going to take questions at the end of the webinar today. So, if you want to leave a question, you can drop that in the chat, and we're happy to answer any of your questions. Dr. Hageman, that was such great information, especially just thinking about how much emphasis we place on diet. So, to hear you talk about the importance of physical activity, I think it's a great conversation that we as clinicians can start to have as well. So thank you so much for your presentation. And now we'll hear from Janie Pillier with our physical therapy department.
Hi, I'm Janie. Thank you so much, Rochelle, and everyone for having me here to speak today. This is one of my favorite things to talk about is physical activity, especially for patients who are cancer survivors or going through cancer treatment. But I have to say that I recommend, go back to that. I definitely would recommend getting clearance from your physician before starting any exercise program. Generally, it's safe, but it's always best to get their expertise, and they know more about you than anyone. So when we think about exercise, there are different types of exercise. There's aerobic exercise, strength training, and flexibility. So the American College of Sports Medicine defines aerobic activity as any endurance activity that can be maintained while using larger muscle groups. So it could be walking, could be jogging, it could be tennis, it could be an aerobics class in the water, out of the water, even powering a manual wheelchair. When we think about exercise, we want to kind of learn the different intensities of exercise. And to do that, if you're a nerd like me and you like numbers, I like to get my target heart rate by using a 220 minus age, and then taking a percentage of that to know where I'm working when I do my aerobic exercise. So a low intensity exercise is about 40 to 50% of your target heart rate. But if you're not very number oriented like myself, you can think about that as an activity that you would be able to talk easily. You could have a conversation with someone, just like a nice little walk down the street. So with moderate intensity exercise, that's about 64 to 76% of a target heart rate. So you could be having a conversation, but it may not be a very deep conversation. You could not sing when you were doing this. And an example would be brisk walking, swimming, doubles tennis. And with vigorous activity, that is definitely, you can't talk hardly at all. So that's race walking, um, jogging, doing, something a little higher intensity. So the National Comprehensive Cancer Network, they set the guidelines that we should be getting about 150 to 300 minutes per week of moderate intensity exercise, or 75 minutes of vigorous activity. And I believe Dr. Hageman also said the same thing. So you're getting a little bit of doubles information. So when we think about what are the benefits of aerobic exercise, so as Dr. Hageman also said, it can actually reduce cancer-related fatigue. It can improve our cardiovascular health, reduces depression and anxiety, and it can reduce the recurrence of cancer. So those are some important reasons why we want to incorporate aerobic activity into our workout. Strength training is another very important aspect of physical activity. And it's defined as a type of exercise that overloads a muscle or muscle group with resistance or force. It could be using your body weight, resistance bands, free weights, or machine weights. Examples could be squatting, it could be tricep dips, it could be bicep curls, it could be push-ups, whatever area that you wanted to work. The NCCN, again, the National Comprehensive Cancer Network, recommends 2 to 3 non-consecutive days of strength training to work major muscle groups. And you definitely want to have a break between those days because our muscles get sore and they need time to recover. You may want to start lower and slower with repetitions, like higher repetitions, lower weights. And strength training is safe for patients with lymphedema. I could probably have a whole other presentation regarding that topic, but I am not going to get into that in depth today. So the benefits of strength training. So it can improve bone health. And we know that some of the chemotherapy agents, especially estrogen blockers, can potentially cause a lower bone density. So it's very important to add strength training into your program. It also improves strength, it increases lean body mass, and also it can reduce cancer-related fatigue. So flexibility is another area that's very important in our workout programs. The National Cancer Comprehensive Network recommends at least 2 days a week of flexibility activity, and it may include active or passive stretching, but it's very important to remember to avoid bouncing or jerking. I also wanted to add that you should hold a stretch for about 30 to 60 seconds to get a true lengthening of the muscle. And you should probably perform anywhere between 3 and 5 repetitions of that. And it's probably best to be a little warmed up because you do not want to stretch a cold muscle. Stretching should never be painful. It should just feel like a stretch. So some of the benefits of flexibility or strength stretching in your program would be that it can improve your range of motion. So we know a lot of patients that have had a mastectomy or any kind of neck dissection. They may have some limitations in their range of motion. So that is very helpful to add this into their program. It can improve your mobility. If you've been sitting a lot because you maybe feel some fatigue, you may have stiffness in your hip joints or in your legs. It can increase blood flow, and it can also reduce injury. So I know many of you must be overwhelmed about completing treatment, or you're going through treatment and you wonder, how am I going to do this? Time can be a factor, equipment, fatigue, motivation, or maybe you're frustrated because you're not in the shape that you were prior to treatment. But I would say don't be. Choose an activity that you enjoy. Ease into your activity. Start small and build on. And you really don't need equipment. All you need is sometimes just your own body weight as far as doing strengthening. You can be walking within your community. That is exercise too. Also, recruiting a friend or a family member. You're part of this support group. So you have people to talk to, you have people to help you through and to start a new program. And be kind to yourself. You just conquered cancer, or you're about to conquer cancer. So ease into that activity and try not to be hard on yourself. And there are community resources. The Living Well Center, though it's not specific to cancer survivors, they have yoga in a series program that's in person. They have Tai Chi virtual online, and YMCA will be here to tell us more about their program. There's also Yoga for Cancer that's virtual on Fridays at the Jewish Community Center. So you have options, and I know we're going to learn a lot more in our program today. So I did put my quiz questions in here, but I'm going to just skip through those. Here are my references, and I'm sure that Rochelle can send those to you. I know they're pretty small on the screen, but please feel free to reach out if you'd like to read more about some of the journal articles regarding physical activity after cancer treatment. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Janie. I love all of those community resources, and I think that's something that will be helpful to everyone that's joined us today. Next up, I'd like to introduce Kate, who is going to talk to us about the Live Strong program. I'm so excited to learn more about this program and how it can be used to help our community of survivors.
I could not have been set up better if I wrote it myself from those two little sweet peas before me. So thanks, guys. This is going to be the easy part. My name is Kate Lorenz, and I'm the Health and Wellness Director at the O'Fallon, Illinois YMCA. I'm a certified personal trainer, certified Group X instructor, and certified Live Strong instructor. I have a huge passion for the community and a huge passion for this program in general. So I'm excited to share all the goodies with you. Next slide, good sir. Perfect. So just a quick program overview of the Live Strong program at the YMCA. It's a small group physical activity group program and well-being program, which meets at the YMCA twice a week for 12 weeks for an hour each. That does differ by branch. So I am part of the Gateway Region YMCA. That includes 24 branches throughout Missouri, St. Louis, and a little bit further west, and Illinois as well. So we all have our different timelines as far as when the program starts, but it is a solid 12-week program. Participants participating in our program creates a welcoming community in which cancer survivors can improve their strength and physical fitness, diminish the severity of their therapy side effects, develop supportive relationships, and improve their quality of life. This is a very dated fact, but since 2007, the Live Strong Foundation has been YUSA's partner in developing and delivering Live Strong at the YMCA. Just a quick play off of that. We have, you may be asking, how does one become qualified to teach this Live Strong program? I actually went through the program myself, and there are several pre-courses that we take, and then there's a 2-day master course that we take in order to be certified to be a Livestrong instructor. You also need to have your personal training certification as well. So we don't just throw in any willy-nilly to lead you in this process. We definitely have parameters that need to be met. Benefits of Livestrong at the Y. So this program offers people affected by cancer a safe, supportive environment to participate in physical and social activities focused on strengthening the whole person, because we know that that is the most important part. Building muscle mass and strength, increasing flexibility and endurance, improving balance, improving confidence and self-esteem, and improving emotional well-being of survivors and their families, and connecting with other survivors during treatment. So I'll give you a quick program overview of kind of how it works. The Livestrong program is free to anyone who has been diagnosed with cancer, whether you're in remission, whether you're going through treatment, as long as we do request and kind of I demand a doctor's note that says, yes, this person is cleared to do physical activity. So what we do is you can either express your interest on the Gateway Region YMCA's website. From there, our community health director will filter it out to whichever branch is closest to you. And that health and wellness director will typically then reach out to you to let you know when their next program is starting. As far as working out with a buddy, we all have, during the Livestrong program, you get one person to come in with you as well. So you have that support system with you, because it's scary, especially if you've never worked out before. It's intimidating, and we don't want you to feel that way. So you get a free membership to the YMCA while you're participating in the program. The program is also free for you and one other person. So whether that be a friend, a spouse, a son or daughter, it's all free for you. We do annual campaign fundraising every year because we never turn anyone away at the Y for the inability to pay. So all of our donations from our annual campaign go towards membership scholarships, and then they cover all of our community health programs like Livestrong, exercise for Parkinson's, diabetes prevention, and so on. So you can bring your other, they can sit in the lobby if they want, they can work out if they want, they can take class with you if they want. That is for the entirety of the 12 weeks. And then after the 12 weeks, you no longer have the free membership. However, we do work with several different insurance companies, and majority of the time we can just get you switched over so that your insurance pays for your membership should you choose to stay. And why wouldn't you? Next slide, please. Again, some dated information for you, but just a quick story. We had a couple participants in the last session that my branch in particular ran, and they both, two of them now became employees after going through the program because they just enjoyed and built that relationship and had so much fun being here. So we love having this program. I think it's absolutely amazing. And no, there's no catch to it. It's truly no cost to you. So if you are interested, I am happy to give out my contact information, or you can go to the Gateway Region YMCA website, and there's program information on there as well. But you guys are already doing such an amazing job just getting through it. Let us help you do other stuff so that you don't have to think about it. We can guide you the rest of the way. How do I participate? Any adult 18 years or older, YMCA membership not required. Find the nearest YMCA that's participating. I will preface by saying not all YMCAs participate. They just don't have the staff to accommodate the program. So there's always one close by. It may not be your home YMCA or the one that's closest to you, but we will find one that is close by. On the Illinois side here, I work together with the East Belleville location and the downtown Belleville location. And if one of us isn't running a program, we try to accommodate so that we can run programs back to back from one another so that everyone that needs to or wants to participate can. We do have a pre-program open house. So that's where you bring your packet in. We make sure you have all of it, your information filled out. There is an entire benchmark evaluation where you kind of go through all the exercises and you get to mark down where you are in the beginning of the program. And then we will again go back at the end of the program, go through those benchmarks again and see the progression that you've experienced. We just ask as part of the commitment to attend at least 80% of the classes. We get it. You have bad days, you don't feel good, you don't want to, you have treatment scheduled. We totally understand, but just to get the full efficacy of the program, we do ask that you attend at least 80% of the classes. Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Kate, for sharing that information. Your energy is absolutely contagious. I love it. It makes me want to like join just because of you. So I love that you do what you do. I've had the opportunity to meet some of your individuals that have participated in the program, and the only thing I can think of, the best word is community. What a sense of community that you have at Livestrong. So thank you. Next up, we are going to hear from Kelly. Kelly is a survivor and has a unique perspective to share with us today about yoga. So Kelly, if you want to take over, I'll hand it over to you.
Sure. Hello, everyone. I am Kelly Mathis. I am a 16-year breast cancer survivor, and I've survived chemotherapy, mastectomy, radiation, and so many surgeries I've actually lost count. I'm also mother to two teenagers who they're 18 and 17 now. They were 3 years old and 14 months old when I was diagnosed. So I'm here just as an advocate to talk you through prioritizing personal time post-cancer and what that has meant to me. And I'm going to show you some things that come up along the way and how to move through that. So I am also a yoga studio owner, and I came to love yoga through my cancer journey. Such a great story that incorporates so many people that are here. The YMCA was part of my journey as well. When I started getting back to fitness post-cancer, I found that when I was getting back to the things that I used to do, the very vigorous things I used to do, I was really struggling. So I tried a step class. I tried a spin class, I tried to run, and all of those things were just too impactful for me and I just couldn't do it. So I was not aware of the strengthening benefits of yoga, like so many people are just unaware. So very begrudgingly, I signed up for my first yoga class. And it turns out I walk in the class, I could do everything that everyone else was doing. The room was kind of dark and I was bald at the time, so that was perfect. I was really kind of vulnerable, so that dark setting was great. And then the yoga teacher actually gave us modifications to where we could intensify the moves or take the moves down, or other modifications based on our strength and flexibility. So by the end of this class that I really didn't want to take, I was so successful and so excited and happy. I actually was able to do everything that everyone else in the class did. And it just really boosted my confidence, which I needed so very much. So immediately I started a 3 days a week yoga practice. And in about a month, and it really was only about a month, I felt really good and strong. And then a year into this yoga practice, I was actually stronger than I had ever been in my life. And my confidence was growing too, which was such a beautiful boost to, I wasn't expecting that. with exercise comes confidence. Who knew? But it was actually helping me to regain confidence in my body. So this led me to open my yoga studio. So eventually I became a yoga teacher. Within 2 years, I owned a yoga studio. And all of that was because I was able to prioritize my well-being. And I did it not for myself. I actually did it at first for my kids. You know, they were babies and I wanted to be around to raise them. And I was sick and I really couldn't do much for them without being healthy and well. So I am here to show you how you are going to, why you must claim your personal time, the things that get in the way, and then how to set boundaries so that you can actually take very good care of yourself. All right, so why must you claim personal time? First of all, some of the truths that come up around personal time, you need to put your oxygen mask on first. Truth number 2, as troubling as it may be, no one is coming to do this for you. And truth number 3, your loved ones need you to make this change. They really do. And I'm going to just talk about all of these things a little bit more. The simple truth is that when you don't feel your best, you absolutely cannot be who you want to be for yourself, let alone anyone else. And when you take care of yourself, you're going to feel better. You'll be happier, less stressed out, and you'll have more time and energy to be the true shining light that you want to be to everyone else in your life. Okay, so truth number 2, and this is going to come with some hard truths for all of us. I mean, they were hard for me to swallow, but it's just real. As much as people love you, they can't roll out the yoga mat for you. They cannot walk you into the Y. They can't sign you up for the class and make you go. It's just not happening. This is an inside job. Self-care is up to you. And I'm telling you, everyone that interacts with you, your family who loves you, they need you to do this. And here is the tough love part. Being a martyr serves no one. So martyring yourself for someone else's needs really doesn't help your relationships. It actually causes strain when you are totally stressed, unhealthy, and unwell. It's going to actually put roadblocks between you and the ones closest to you, your kids, your loved ones, even your coworkers. All right, now this is one of my favorite things ever. It's been a beautiful journey. So on the bottom left are my children, and I've been so fortunate to be here and watch their journey. Your people need you to make this change. Top right picture is me on yoga retreat in Mexico. The bottom left, my kids going on this school trip to France and Germany. I believe that it was my example of taking care of myself and doing things that made me happy that led them to, you know, go for this trip. And it wasn't handed to them. They worked for it, they planned for it. And that's what I'm talking about here. What kind of example are we setting? So when you take care of yourself, prioritize your health and happiness, you will be healthy and happy. You'll be fun to be around. And the most important thing to me is that you'll show others too how to take care of themselves and live a life of meaning. If you don't prioritize yourself, you will be tired, sick, grumpy, kind of a bummer to be around. And as sad as it is, you are showing others that you don't value yourself enough to establish boundaries and discipline to take good care of yourself. Okay, so that's all fine and good, right? But we have the guilt factor, things that come up and get in the way. And I'm going to show you what to do about it, because the simple truth is you have people relying on you. And when you take time, money, resources for yourself, some feelings are going to come up about it. But the truth is your health and happiness matter. And I'm going to show you how to reframe your thoughts so you get into that mindset so that you know that your people are counting on you to just be healthy and take good care of yourself and be a shining light. And the third truth about this, you 100% will always be a better version of you when you take care of yourself. So you probably find yourself thinking that you'd rather make everyone else happy. And we're nice people, so I get that. But really, when you consistently sacrifice your happiness for someone else's, like I said before, resentment creeps into that relationship. And that's not their fault. This is on us. Like, that's on you to take care of yourself and really make sure you're getting what you need. There's just a lot of beauty that comes into being for yourself and taking care of yourself. It actually strengthens your relationships. Okay, so remember, here's a couple steps to reframe your thinking around this. Remember that the time you use for your well-being is an investment, not a cost. Just imagine the people that you love the most. You want them to take care of themselves, right? So, but it starts on the inside first. Truth number 2 here, you cannot pour from an empty cup. It's a universal law. You must be well cared for. And then one of my favorites here, the bullet point number 3, pay attention to how you treat others when you feel well cared for. So I knew when I started doing yoga, it took me some time to realize this, but on the days that I had yoga and I was taking care of these little babies at bed and bath time, they could have as many toys in the tub as they wanted. I'd read as many stories as they wanted. On other days where I felt stressed, I needed to get it done. And that's just when I realized that, I thought, oh my gosh, this isn't just for me. This is for them too. So as I said, you'll always be a better version of yourself to others when you take care of yourself first. And now I'm going to show you how to establish boundaries so that you can really carve this out and adjust your life accordingly if that's not already happening for you. So if you have a note on your iPhone or a piece of paper, please grab that now. All right, setting boundaries. Be fierce about it. I'm going to walk you through what are healthy boundaries, how to establish them, and why they are important. So what are healthy boundaries? These are personal boundaries and limits and rules that I set for myself, with myself and others. So oftentimes people only think of boundaries with other people, but this is for you too. I have boundaries around my time and how I spend it as well. So when I'm practicing healthy boundaries, I can say no to limiting beliefs, behaviors with myself and to others when I want to. And then I'm also comfortable to open up to spontaneity. So a healthy boundary is not just so hard and fast. You can, live life and take things that come in. All right, so how to establish boundaries. So step 1, think of an area in your life where you need to establish boundaries. This is probably immediately coming up for you. You already know where you need to, establish boundaries around your time. Step number 2 to create this boundary is that you'll communicate the boundary to the person, even if it's yourself, and then you'll establish consequences for going past the boundary. So I'll give you an example here, and I'll keep it very simple. With your children, let's say you want them to clean their room. You're going to tell them you want them to clean their room and establish the consequence and follow through, right? So the consequence will be something obviously simple in this scenario, like less screen time or they lose their phone, something like that. Okay, at work, it might be I'm not taking on any more assignments. And that's a more difficult conversation typically. The more personal the boundary, the more difficult these conversations are. But we just practice them. So as I said, step number 3, you will follow through on your word. This is so important because your word is your integrity, and it will mean nothing if you say one thing and do another consistently. So again, the people that report to you or your children are the people that you're in a close relationship with. They need you to be consistent and they need to be able to count on you, that what you say is true. Step number 4, you're just going to repeat this process and try again. We know boundaries aren't easy. You're a nice person and you want to make other people happy. This is why we need boundaries, right? So it's a muscle. You just create a muscle in in establishing boundaries for yourself, for the people around you, you will be happy and they will be happy. So that is how to establish healthy boundaries. If you want to take a screenshot, please do. And of course, we can make these slides available to you. So healthy boundaries, why have them? Well, they are a sign of self-respect. They help you practice self-care. They help you to be generous with others, because when you are happy and you're living from your core values, which is the next bullet point, you will be nicer to other people. They help you engage in fulfilling relationships, and they help you create structure in your life and move out of overwhelm. One of my favorite quotes here around boundaries: don't forget that no is a really, really complete sentence. So that is it for me. I want to thank you so much for joining this entire webinar. And if you, here are some resources. Again, you can screenshot this if you'd like. And I have free meditation and core exercises. They're called 8 Minutes of Abs on my YouTube channel at Go Yoga Express. I have in-person and online yoga classes at goyogaexpress.com. We also offer wellness retreats and personal and group coaching. And then you can find us on Instagram at Go Yoga Express or at kelly.mathis for me. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Kelly, for that wonderful exercise. I made a note of something you said, and it really resonated with me when you said it's an inside job. And so many times we are looking for someone, to help encourage us or motivate us. But the reality is that it does come from within, and we're so much better for others as a result of taking care of ourselves. So wonderful, wonderful. We've learned so much today, just about physical activity. Thank you all. Physical activity, what types of activities we should do, how much we should do, live strong, and then again, setting boundaries and really taking care of ourselves. So we are going to move into our Q&A section. I do see that we have some questions that have come into the chat. So I'd like to jump right in with that. The first question that I have, and any of you can answer this. It says, I'm finding it hard to get motivated to exercise after my treatment. What would you recommend to get past that and get started?
I'm happy to join in here as a survivor. I had, my motivation was my kids, and just to be able to get up off of the floor, get up and down easily again and move. And that was the beginning stage. Eventually I worked into my own happiness, right? So I used to do things for other people, and eventually I was happy enough and confident enough, right, and feeling good that I started to do things for myself. So I would say just take one small action and just do it. Really, this is one of those personal boundaries that I was talking about. This is your health. This is your life. This is the people around you that care about you. It's your whole life. So even a very small 5 to 10 minutes to start, very small goal, and track it and just give yourself a treat. And that, of course, I don't know exactly what you would love for that, but if you get through your full week and achieve your goals, then have something there that's a treat. I don't know, maybe guilt-free hour of Netflix or something like that you can just kick back and relax.
That's so funny, Kelly. I was going to say the same thing. I'm a big fan of bribing myself and rewarding myself. I was going to say, even if you go for the first time, you make it in the door, you do anything, even if you just make it in the door and talk to someone, and then whatever happens from there, go get your nails done afterwards or go get a massage afterwards. But you're not allowed to do that until you do the hard stuff first. So do the hard thing and then go do the fun thing. It works really well for me. It's my husband doesn't like that, but hey, do you?
And one more thing to add to that, I think it's just that, you see, when we see pictures of people on the internet exercising, they look very fit and healthy, and that may be a little overwhelming, and you may not feel at all like that as you're in the midst of treatment, or any time in your life. I am not in treatment, and I often feel that way. And so I think that, it's a matter of just knowing that, you know your baseline, and know that anything just a little bit extra is going to make a huge difference.
That is great. We have another question in the chat. This is for you, Kate. They want to know if you can provide the website to sign up for Livestrong at the YMCA. I think you're muted.
Absolutely. So it is GWRYMCA.org/LIVESTRONG-YMCA. And that's
Wonderful.
all for the Gateway region, and it'll give you a list of everything that you need from there.
So Kate, just to piggyback on that, there's another question directed at Livestrong, and that's whether or not the individual can do Livestrong after treatment, and they have more energy. So could you tell us just a little bit more about the requirements for that and your recommendation?
Sure. Requirements are that you have been to an MD and they have told you the news that you have cancer. That's all that we ask. You are absolutely welcome to join the program after. One of our most recent participants, he's been in remission for 15 years, and he said, I feel bad taking somebody's spot. And I said, absolutely not. We still have to have good habits for everybody. So yeah, you can do it when you have better energy. We just ask that you don't commit, because you can only complete the program one time for free. We do ask that if you know you're not feeling well, wait until you're feeling better so that you can attend the majority of the sessions.
Great. Thank you so very much. There's a yoga question as to whether or not yoga, and I'm assuming this is for you, Kelly, is for cancer survivors or for everyone. So can you address that? And anyone else is welcome to talk about, anything related to that. But Kelly, I think if you could answer that.
Is the question, is yoga for everyone or just cancer survivors, or did I misunderstand that?
Yeah, I think that's the question. And then I don't know if they're asking if you offer anything that is just for cancer survivors. So
okay, I gotcha. So yoga is for everyone. I have witnessed a stage 4 breast cancer survivor go through chemotherapy and do hot yoga. This was a long time ago, probably 10 years ago. And she's still cancer-free. And I just loving the study and information from Dr. Hageman about how physical exercise can actually reduce the toxicity of chemotherapy and also increase the results was just amazing to hear. So, and then we have I think our yoga community is a standard percentage of cancer, non-cancer folks. We do not have a specific yoga cancer class or yoga for cancer survivors class, but I'm so open. Rochelle and I actually talked about doing something like that to partner together. Very open to do that. And a lot of people that are either surviving cancer or post-treatment and all of that, they'll just come in because they want to work out and their doctors have told them to start moving. And so they find us and they choose classes that they can do at their level. And like I said, any yoga class, you can modify it, you can intensify it, take it down a notch, modify for your mobility, any mobility issues. Certainly with surgeries, that comes up. There's a lot of big stretches, especially across the front body. And I was able to work around it. I had a mastectomy, radiation that caused tightness in the chest, but just really being mindful, of course, getting clearance from your doctor and being mindful of when, you don't want to really push the stretch too soon. So I hope that answers your question.
That was great. And that really leads into our next question that we have for Janie in physical therapy. One of the questions is, are there any type of accommodations for disabled individuals during physical therapy? And what kinds of challenges do survivors face in physical therapy?
So physical therapy is all about helping people with disabilities. So it's very broad question. So all of our programs are tailored to an individual. And we make all kinds of, pick one for me and I could tell you about it, but we definitely, if someone needs like a walker or a cane, if they're in a wheelchair, obviously, or if they have goals, maybe they're weak from treatment and a goal is to be able to move from sit to stand, we might start from a higher level and move, have them practice those skills until they get stronger. I think some of the challenges for physical therapy with cancer patients actively in cancer treatment is that sometimes they may feel really sick after chemotherapy. So it may be sometimes hard for them to get here. That would be, I think fatigue in general could be another challenge, but we just do what we can and make, small goals, short-term goals to do small things until we achieve what that patient's goal is. So really, we kind of look at a person individually and accommodate accordingly. I hope that was helpful. Just kind of a big question.
Yeah, I think that's a great question, great answer to that question. I think we hear so many different things and so many barriers to, accessing, whether it be, am I physically okay to do this? Do I have enough financial support to do this? So I think we've hit a lot of things. There was one question that asked about the cost and what if I'm struggling financially? How can I afford something like yoga or the YMCA Live Strong? So if you guys would want to talk about other options that are available to people, or what do you recommend for someone who is struggling financially with
Yeah.
that?
Would love to answer that. So on YouTube, there are tons and tons of free sources of yoga classes. As I said, I have on my YouTube channel, I have ab work. There's like, I don't know, multiple 8 minutes of abs exercises. I think there's even a gentle 9-minute stretch class on there that's totally free. And meditation. There are really so many sources that you can go to and just get the free stuff. Yeah, and I think I'll turn it over to Kate because I think Livestrong is free, but that's just, there are tons and tons of resources out there, and YouTube is an absolute go-to.
Yeah, Livestrong is free. And then we also, if you are struggling financially, we do have membership scholarships available as well. So just mentioning to whomever is leading your class or the director, we can get you a scholarship application. We have income-based and then we have scholarships. We also have, as mentioned before, a lot of Silver Sneakers and Renew Active insurances cover that programming as well, and that gives you full access to the facility. So lots of options.
Great. So there's one last question, and then we'll switch over to our post test. But there was a question, someone had mentioned a wearable, and I think there's a lot of interest in that. So can you guys explain what is a wearable? What are the benefits of a wearable? Why would a survivor even need a wearable?
I'll take that and start. I had mentioned it in my slides about ways we could maybe just kind of increase the quantitative data about physical activity in cancer treatment and beyond. And that would refer to something like a Fitbit or a heart rate monitor, something that you can wear just at baseline or while you're doing activity to just show and communicate a little bit more about your fitness. Sometimes we can do muscle assessments, just anything that can give us a little more quantitative information about what's going on with your body while you're exercising. That can be very helpful to gauge how much exercise you can and should be doing, what we can do to increase that. And that's something that trainers at the Y, things like that will work with you on. But I think it's also very helpful information for doctors too. So sharing that information back and forth, like it's not just like I went to the gym for a workout. Here's what happened to my body when I did the yoga or when I did swimming. So that can be really, really helpful in terms of a communication strategy.
I'd like to comment. I am such a numbers person, and I like to know my steps for the day. And whenever I go running or do other activity, I can also see my heart rate. And again, I kind of like to stay in that moderate intensity level. So I think it also helps people know if they're actually achieving that moderate level of activity, of aerobic activity, that is.
And I like to know too, in terms of, my baseline might not be the same as my patient's baseline. And I think it's really important to, have a quantitative idea about that. Like, okay, you go running a few times a week. Well, I don't know. That doesn't mean as much as, my usual activity is 1,000, 2,000 steps a day. Okay, well, that gives me a framework for where you are and what we could maybe make as a goal. We certainly don't want to overdo the goals if we need to start small. And so I think a wearable can actually be really helpful in goal setting too.
Great. So thank you all again. I think we are at the end of our presentation and Q&A. And so I want to again thank everyone for joining us today. Thank you to all of our speakers today. You have been so inspirational. And now I'm thinking I need to go out and walk because I've sat too long today. So thank you all. And we do want to remind you that a post test is out there. So if you haven't already taken the post test, please take a few minutes to take the post test. We'll be looking at that. I also want to remind you that there will be a evaluation that will come to you through your email. So if you will look for that in the next couple of days, there's an evaluation. We would love to hear from you, feedback. If you have any suggestions on future events that you would love to hear about, please give us that feedback so that we can continue to plan programs that are meeting your needs. I think that is it for the day. Everybody have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for joining.